to see if we can fit an apartment, bookshop, and a coffee bar into this small space. I have been having fun revisiting some of my older games and coming up with creative ways to extend the content after I finish the actual gameplay. I chose this West Village duplex for this build. It has an interesting loft area and tall ceilings in the front half of the apartment. Don't forget to stick around because I have some exciting small spaces news to share. With the way things are in the world today, being able to afford new games every couple weeks is not a luxury we all have, but I think we can take the old games and make them exciting again. And there's a lot of ways you can do that. There are mods for many games that add or change content. Sometimes you can revisit older games and check out any new content they've added. And sometimes it's using your own creativity and imaginations to come up with new stories for the games we already own. Stepping outside the given tasks and creating your own stories around small space apartments means that you can replay this game over and over with a new concept every time. I envisioned a young couple living here, turning this large apartment into not only their first home, but also a business opportunity. This smaller, separate room will become the bedroom, giving them a bit of privacy and a retreat from the business portion of the flat. Even though it will be sparsely furnished, it has an interior window that looks out onto an old world-inspired bookshop, so it'll still feel cozy. I didn't just want this room to be a bed and a stool, so I tried to include a cute dressing table and a sitting area. When I make these spaces, I try to imagine what it would be like to live in them myself. Are there proper paths through the room so that there's a good flow? Are there safe little spaces to create comfort away from the main paths? Does each person in the household have a space for themselves and their hobbies? And is there enough natural light in each room? It is a lot to consider, but it creates a challenge that you can use to guide your invented content. The rest of the upper floor will be a kitchen, dining, and living room. To make the room feel a bit larger, I'm going to try and make the kitchen blend into the back wall, so I'm choosing similar color palettes. I had to play with the placement of the counters a bit because I'm weird, and the cupboards and drawers had to be symmetrical. There are no fireplaces in small spaces, but this space definitely needed one, so I made one. I start with these cupboards, which you can flip to create symmetry, and then I add this table. There is a shelf here that can be used for the fire portion of this fireplace. Changing the color makes it look like one solid piece. Next, it's time for the fire. I will be using these candles to stand in for the flame, and to add more interest, I'm going to try and group them and resize them to various heights. This is also a great way to avoid the big lights, because these candles add a warm glow to the small living room. You can decorate this faux fireplace however you want, but for this space, I'm going to keep it traditional. And these planters actually are meant to hang on the wall, but they work great for on top of shelves, and you won't notice that the back is missing. To finish off the living room, I used some vintage furniture. I know this apartment is a weird mix of new and old, but I think that you can mix new and old and still have a cozy space. Also, I feel like this young couple would probably have new and old tastes, like these chairs and end table. I also added some cushions to make the space feel a little less formal. The dining room, or rather dining section, fit perfectly along this railing. It's just fine for a new couple, even though it's not a conventional table. To make the stairs fit in a bit more with the old world feel, I decided to add a runner down them. I used the large square carpet, resized it, and then doubled it for each step. Placing the carpets is time-consuming and tedious, but I think the final look is worth it. I did test this with yoga mats as well. I have talked about how to use yoga mats in small spaces in unique ways, and you can use a yoga mat here too. I didn't like them because even though it fit on the stairs nicely, they have a weird coloring that looks like a sweat stain, and that's gross. The next step is to close off the living space from the shop. I was even able to create a secret little stock room, which we will furnish later. With the apartment complete, it's time to create the bookshop. For this area, I will choose pieces that look old. Worn, scratched, and dinged all help sell the old library mood I want to create for this space. I was super excited that I could clip these shelves and create a custom corner unit. I wanted to try and make a little library study section where you could sit and flip through your selected purchases. I pulled these half tables once again. I wish that there were some old banker or library lights that we could use, but this was the closest lamp to the look I was going for. It still works for this area and gives off a cozy glow. Speaking of wishes for the game, I did see someone on Instagram ask for the ability to make custom room sizes, and the dev replied with, "We're working on custom layout mode." So that's something to look forward to. This apartment has quite high ceilings, which are perfect for tall shelves. It was also around this point that I realized that I was going to have to stock these shelves with books, and that is a lot of books. It's another tedious task, but it has to be done. For these corner shelves, I rotated the books a bit to create more of a seamless line. To bring some life to these tall ceilings, we will add some plants in various places on the shelves. And how will we reach those top shelves? Ladders, of course. I wish they were those rolly ladders that you see in old libraries, but this will have to do for now. I also have to include some seating, so I will choose these oversized antique chairs to create a little reading nook. In order to run this small business, there needs to be a checkout desk, so I've created a little checkout section by the door. The final zone that will be accessible to the public is the little coffee bar. For the size of this bookstore, I think I've managed to include ample seating. There are 4 spots in the main shop, and there are 4 chairs here as well. I was going to add 7 seats and 3 tables to this coffee bar section, but it was a bit too squishy. I feel like this would be more of a neighborhood hangout, so there won't be a ton of people that are here on a regular basis. So having a little less seating is okay. I kept this area simple, as the main reason the customers should be stopping here is to buy books. You could always add a lot more to this space to make it feel like a cafe or a coffee shop if you wanted. Another interesting little piece of information, I noticed that there's going to be some new spaces available soon, and the location is San Francisco. I really hope there's some of those little townhouses like in Full House. I will have to put the washer in this space. It may have fit in the bathroom, but it would have also made it kind of ugly, so I decided to put it here. Now I can create a small office and stockroom in this tiny space under the stairs. That's one thing I really enjoy about small spaces, challenging myself to fit as many zones as I can in one apartment. And then the bathroom, which is part of the private living quarters, but this space was already prepped for a washroom, so we're just gonna keep it down here. I believe this towel rack is new because I don't recall seeing it before, but I really like it. And after swapping the floor out with a darker stain, the Bookshop apartment is complete. We did manage to fit the apartment, bookstore, and coffee bar into this space. I didn't like that the bathroom was so far away from the main part of the house, but it still works. We also discovered that we can still enjoy games that we already have in our libraries by using our imaginations and challenging ourselves. So what do you think? Would you be interested in living in this bookshop? If this helped you relax, you're always welcome back. This is a video I think you'll want to see next, and this is a playlist that I think you'll like too.